Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Canada Immigration. We hope you're doing great. In this video, we will talk about the impact of Canada's immigration cuts. Canada has long been a beacon of hope for immigrants seeking new opportunities, but recent announcements about scaling back immigration targets have left many wondering about the reasons behind these drastic changes. From labor market challenges to political shifts, the country's decision to reduce immigration levels has sparked heated debates. In this video, we will explore why Canada is making these cuts and what it means for the future of its immigration system. If you are interested in this topic, pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the video. The Canadian government's immigration cutback, a bold and controversial decision. The Canadian government's recent decision to dramatically cut its immigration targets has stirred widespread debate across the nation. By slashing both permanent and temporary immigration levels by 20%, the government aims to slow population growth, an effort aimed at addressing mounting pressures on infrastructure, housing, and public services. The decision represents a significant departure from the previous administration's ambitious targets, which had aimed to bring in record numbers of immigrants in an effort to boost Canada's economy and workforce. Drastic immigration cuts, what do they mean for Canada's future? Canada has traditionally been known for its open immigration policies, which have been a key driver of its economic growth and demographic expansion. However, with the ongoing strain on services and the housing market, the government has opted to curtail the number of people entering the country, signaling a shift in immigration strategy. The Liberal government's decision to reduce immigration levels by 20% will result in a significantly slower rate of population growth, which they argue will allow provinces and municipalities more time to adjust to the rapid influx of new residents in recent years. The cuts are a response to a series of pressures that have built up over the past several years, including rising housing costs, growing demand for healthcare services, and a shortage of infrastructure to support an expanding population. Canada's infrastructure has struggled to keep pace with the rapid population growth driven by immigration, and the government now faces the challenging task of managing these issues while also protecting the long-term stability of the economy. Immigration surges in the aftermath of the pandemic, an unexpected growth spike. Canada's population has historically grown at a steady pace of between 200,000 and 600,000 people per year, but that growth spiked dramatically after the pandemic. Over the last 2 years, Canada's population surged by over 1 million people, a level of growth unseen in over a century. This rapid increase was largely fueled by immigration, and more specifically, by the influx of temporary workers and international students who came to Canada to fill labour shortages in key sectors. In response to these needs, the Canadian government issued temporary work permits and student visas without imposing limits on the number of applicants, aiming to address the labour shortage crisis. This decision led to an unforeseen surge in the population, with Canada adding nearly 3 million people in just 3 years, well above the original forecast set by the government. The swelling numbers of temporary residents, in particular, contributed to the sharp rise in population. A labour crisis and Canada's aggressive immigration strategy. The Canadian government's decision to allow such a massive influx of temporary workers was directly linked to the labour shortage that emerged in the wake of the pandemic. Canada was facing 1 million unfilled job vacancies, and the government responded by issuing temporary visas to foreign workers. However, without an upper limit on the number of temporary workers allowed into the country, this policy decision unintentionally led to a significant increase in the population. This shift in strategy resulted in rapid population growth that outpaced the government's expectations. While the labour force benefited from this increase in temporary workers, the rising demand for housing, healthcare, and social services quickly exceeded the country's capacity to meet these needs. What began as a solution to a labour shortage quickly morphed into an unsustainable growth model, forcing the government to reconsider its policies. Housing and infrastructure, the unsustainable pressure on Canada's cities. One of the most glaring consequences of this population growth has been the strain on Canada's housing market. For years, Canada maintained a balanced ratio between population growth and the number of new homes built. However, this balance has deteriorated significantly since 2016. By 2021, the gap between the population increase and housing construction had more than doubled, leading to an alarming shortage of affordable housing. The housing crisis has exacerbated wealth inequality, as home prices have soared to unaffordable levels. In early 2020, the average cost of a home in Canada was around $540,000. By 2022, that price had jumped to nearly $840,000, an increase of nearly $300,000 in just 2 years. With interest rates remaining high and construction costs continuing to rise, the housing market is at a breaking point. As the population grows, the gap between the demand for housing and the supply of homes continues to widen, leaving millions of Canadians struggling to find affordable housing. Healthcare strain. Canada's struggling health system under pressure. Canada's healthcare system, long praised for its accessibility, is also under tremendous strain as a result of the population surge. With the increase in the number of residents, particularly immigrants, the demand for healthcare services has soared. The shortage of healthcare professionals, combined with rising demand, has resulted in longer wait times and reduced access to essential services. A growing number of Canadians, particularly those who have recently immigrated to the country, find themselves without a family doctor. Estimates suggest that over 6 million Canadians currently lack a family physician, contributing to overcrowded emergency rooms and a worsening of the overall healthcare crisis. The burden on the system is expected to increase in the coming years as the population continues to grow, putting the government in a difficult position as it attempts to balance immigration levels with the needs of an overstretched healthcare system. Infrastructure shortages. Are Canada's municipalities ready for more? The strain on Canada's infrastructure has been particularly evident in provinces such as Prince Edward Island, which saw a 33% increase in immigration in the past year alone. The rapid influx of new residents has put pressure on local services, including electricity, water, and transportation. For example, Pay's electricity provider, Maritime Electric, has warned that its grid is at risk of reaching capacity, with few resources available to upgrade the system quickly enough to meet demand. Across the country, municipalities have struggled to keep pace with the rapid population growth. Canada's existing infrastructure was not built to accommodate such a sharp increase in residents, and many local governments have found themselves ill-equipped to address the challenges brought on by this growth. As a result, public services ranging from public transit to waste management are increasingly unable to meet the needs of the population. Public sentiment and the growing backlash against immigration. The surge in population growth, combined with increasing strain on public services, has led to growing public concern about immigration. According to recent surveys, about half of Canadians now view immigration as harmful to the country's overall well-being, up 10 percentage points from the previous year. This shift in sentiment reflects growing anxiety over housing affordability, healthcare accessibility, and the perceived scarcity of resources. The government's decision to cut immigration levels is, in part, a response to this public sentiment. With increasing pressure from voters who feel that immigration is exacerbating the country's social and economic challenges, the Liberal government has shifted its stance to regain public trust. However, this decision risks alienating certain sectors of the economy that rely on immigration to drive growth, particularly in areas such as technology, healthcare, and agriculture. The future of Canada's immigration policies. What comes next? The long-term implications of Canada's decision to reduce immigration levels remain uncertain. While the cuts may provide some immediate relief for overburdened services, they also carry the risk of stifling economic growth. Immigration has long been a driver of Canada's economy, contributing to the workforce, innovation, and economic dynamism. By scaling back immigration, the government may inadvertently undermine the country's ability to remain competitive in a rapidly changing global economy. Ultimately, the success of this policy shift will depend on the government's ability to address the underlying issues that have led to the rapid population growth, issues such as housing, healthcare, and infrastructure. If Canada can successfully manage these challenges, while maintaining its reputation as a welcoming destination for skilled workers, it may find a balance between population growth and the need to safeguard its public services. However, the road ahead will require careful planning, investment, and a commitment to ensuring that all Canadians benefit from the changes to the immigration system. As Canada navigates the complexities of its shifting immigration policies, it remains to be seen how these cuts will affect the country's economy and global standing. While these changes may offer short-term solutions to immediate challenges, their long-term impact on Canada's labour market and multicultural identity will be something to watch closely. Understanding the driving forces behind these cuts is essential for anyone interested in Canada's immigration landscape and its future. That is all for today. In this video, what are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.